Hey folks, this is Dave again with Advanced MasterCAM, and today we are going over Project 6. It's a little bit of a unique, more difficult process, but hey, we'll get through this, no problem. So let's go ahead and we'll jump over to MasterCAM and get our files set up and proceed forward. So as usual, come in here, turn on F9 to get our cursor. Let's go into Levels, and as usual, put all of our CAD on level 1. And level 2 is where our solids will go. Let's make sure we activate layer 1. Okay, now coming back over here to our drawing, the first feature I see is this large rectangular surface. It's the 5.620 by the 2.440, and it's from this plane to this line back here. This first line you see that's 0.260 away is actually a boss of the long channel. Well, not really a channel, it's a boss that sticks out of the back, represented by these two horizontal dashed lines or hidden lines. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to make this first project. We're not going to put any fillets on it. Let's just go rectangle. We're going to switch to front view to create this. So while we're here, we're going to go WCS, set to front view, click on top WCS. Okay, so what makes sense for an origin? For me, I think just for the purpose of this drawing, I'm going to use this bottom left corner. So we need a rectangular, draw a rectangular shape that's 5.620 by 2.440. So create rectangular shape. 5.264, or was it 0? Hold on. 260. Whoop. 5.260. The other was 2.440. We're going to have no radius, no rotation, square corners, bottom left, and we'll snap it right there at the origin. And click Alt F1 to bring it all into view, and I'll clear my colors. So there we go. We got our first rectangular shape. Let's rotate this into 3D view. We're going to extrude it out, and the distance that we're going to extrude is, let's see, we may have to have some math here to do. We need to know from here to here how far that is. Okay, there's our math. 1.40 minus 0.68 minus 0.260. So solid, extrude. Select the chain, make sure it goes all the way around. We only have one arrow. We'll go ahead and extrude in that direction, which is fine. So our calculation is 1.440 minus 0.680 minus 0.260. Hit enter, and it comes out to a ½ inch. So let's approve that. So there we got our first feature. The next feature I'm going to draw is this rectangular boss coming off the front of the part. This 0.668 deep coming off the front. So the easiest method is we're going to draw on top of that feature we just created. We're going to create a rectangular shape and snap it to the lower right hand corner. So it is 2.44 by 2.44. Let's go draw that. So let's set it up. We'll leave this in 3D view, and we'll let our snap control the placement of that rectangular box. I'm going to look at my auto cursors, and yes, I have my endpoint, so I'm good to go. So rectangular shape, 2.440, 2.440, no radius, no rotation, square corner, lower right, and snap it to that bottom corner. Now, because we were in 3D view, we could snap to that corner. If we were in 2D view, we would have been on the back. Let's go ahead and prove that, and while I remember, let's click this solid here, and we need to move it to level 2. So highlight it to where it turns yellow, right click on levels, we'll move to 2. Looking at our levels now, we should have, I believe, 8 and 1. So yep, 8 on the first level, 1 on the second level. Make sure 1 is activated. So now that chain we just created, we're going to extrude that out 0.688. So solid extrude, select that chain we just created, prove it, it's going in the right direction. We want to add boss, and we move it out 0.688. So let's look in our solid tree, and you got to make sure you still have one solid here. If you have multiple solids, it's because you created a new body rather than, pull this up, you did create new body rather than add boss. So you got to go back, delete the feature that you created, re-extrude the CAD, and make sure it's add boss. Okay, going back to our project here, what can we work on next? I'm going to work on this boss sticking off the back, and it is 0.375 from the bottom and 751 thousandths wide. So let's go ahead and just come to the back. I'm going to create a new level because I don't want it to interfere with the CAD that I used to create this base feature. So I'm going to create a new level 3, and I'm going to call it channel. Let's call it boss. You can call it whatever you like, whatever makes sense to you. And I'm going to turn off the visibility of 1. So looking here at the back, I'm going to offset the bottom edge by 0.375. First thing we got to do is duplicate the edge first. So create curve on one edge. We're just going to duplicate that bottom and hit enter, and it has been created. So X form offset, we're going to offset it that direction, 0.375, hit the plus sign, do it again. This time it'll be offset at 0.751, and hit the green check mark. Now we're not quite done yet here. We'll clear the colors because we need to close these chains off. So let's just take a straight line. Well, that didn't connect. I'm going to undo that. I'm going to redraw that line. So that point to that point, that point to that point. Now we're going to do a solid extrude. There's our chain. We are going the wrong direction, so I'm going to flip its direction. We're going to make sure we're adding a boss, and the distance we're going is 0.260. Now we have our boss sticking off the back. Come back to levels. I'm going to activate level 1, turn off the visibility of 3. So there's our basic feature so far. Now let's see, what can we work on next? Let's work on the hard part, which is this channel cut inside, and it's represented by this rectangular hidden line and this slope line, arced, and a vertical line. Several things we're going to need to do. I'm going to create a brand new layer just so I have only this information to deal with. So let's go to layer. We'll go 4, and we'll call it, let's see, pocket. Turn the visibility of layer 1 off. Whoop. I want layer 1 off and layer 4 off. We're also going to need to switch to wireframe so we can see into this part. So switch to wireframe. A couple things we're going to have to do. We're going to want to draw on the level where this is, which is 0.54 from the back. Let's see, where else could we do? We got it's a 620 thousandths channel. So what we'll do to get our distance from here, from 0, we know that from. Okay, well, here's what it is. This back line right here represents 0. This line I'm pointing at here. We need to know the difference between this number and this number to find out our Z level here. So let's take a calculator real quick. And we'll take 0.540 and we'll subtract out 260. And it's basically it's 280 thousandths from the back. Now coming up to here, what we need to do is switch to two-dimensional view. We need to change our Z height to 0.28. It's 200. Now everything we draw now is 280 thousandths off of the zero plane. So first thing I got to do is I need to locate this corner, and that's 2.193 from the edge. Sorry about that. So let's go X form offset, and we're going to offset this edge here, this direction, 2 point, what was that number again? 193. And that's the direction we want. Okay, we'll prove that, and as you see, it's sitting inside of a box right where we want it. Next thing we got to do is we got to draw a line from, let me get in the top view, from this point at that angle. So looking here, it's at 40.680 from that point. So we'll come to here, come to this line, we'll lock in the 40.680 and lock it in. Okay, it is 40.68. We're going to start here at this point, and it'll force it to come off at 40.68. We'll just draw it up in roughly that direction. We'll prove it. Now, the next thing we're going to do, this one's a little bit deceiving, kind of hard to figure out. This circle basically has two values that we're going to use to create this arc. All we know is we know the radius of it, and the other thing is this crosshair actually intersects this line right here, the top of our boss here. So with that information, we're going to create our circles. So what we're going to do, let's unlock that. Let's go to create arc tangent. I'm sorry, let's not create it that way. let's create a let's create a circle. Let's see. Okay, I'm trying to remember this basically from the last time I've done it. I believe it was create. We're looking for some information down here in Word. Let's try arc again. There's an arc tangent. Oh, here it is. So we're doing create arc tangent, and one of the options we have here is tangent in the center line of the circle. So we're going to use that option. We're going to go ahead and place our radius in of 0.620. We'll go ahead and lock that in. So it says select the line to be tangent to the circle, and that's this angled line we got. And it says select the line to put the center of the circle on, and that's our top of our boss. Now it gives us two options. We want to click the one we want to keep, and the other one gets deleted. And there we go. We have our circle. So the only thing we got left to do now is draw the line that comes off here down straight. I'm going to make sure my auto cursor angular is on at 90 degrees, and that'll allow us to a little bit easier to draw a line in straight down. Okay. So what else do we have to do? So I'm going to rotate this a little bit to kind of give us an idea of what we're looking at. Okay, it really doesn't help, so let's keep it in front view. So I need to draw a line that connects this line to this line. So we'll snap to the end of here and out to here. So now I got all these excess lines. So what do? Okay, we don't need this line anymore, so we'll delete it. And now let's go trim back what we don't need. So divide, delete. We're going to need to get rid of that part. We're going to need to get rid of that part. This trailing line and this trailing line. And so there is our pocket. Visibility of that layer 3 off. So, okay. I've been drawing on level 4. Let me fix that real quick. That was these lines right here. We're going to move that to level 4. Now I'm just trying to make it so you guys can see this a little bit better. So let's turn the visibility layer 3 off. And there we go. Now we have our solid. I can even turn the solid off too, so you can see this is the resulting shape we're looking for. So let's turn our solid back on. And while remaining in wireframe mode, we're going to cut that solid. So cut, extrude, auto chain around. We are going to be putting a pocket that's 620 thousandths deep. It is going the wrong way right now, so we have to flip it. We want to cut body, and the amount we're doing is 0.620, and approve it. And now let's switch to solid view, and there we have our pocket now cut into this design. Let's go back to our levels. I'm going to turn the visibility of, go activate layer 1, turn visibility 3 and 4 off, so I'm back to here. Okay, so that's the hardest part of this part. Let's go ahead and continue. The next part I'm going to work on is this. We'll work on this larger boss. As you can see, it kind of has a fillet on it. It sticks out, and the radius of it is 0.75. And let's see, we got to find the center of it. So let's change our Z height level to the face of this. So now we're drawing on this face. So our Z height should be 0.5. We're going to offset some lines to find this crosshair. That's 750 thousandths up, 1.328 over. So X form, offset this line, this direction, 1.328 that direction. Blue plus sign. This one this way, and it is 0.75. Blue plus sign, and we have our information. We will approve it. Now we can either use auto cursor center. We'll go ahead and use auto cursor center. So now let's create a circle. Lock the radius in of 0.75, and we're going to snap right to that intersection. There we have our circle. So let's do a solid extrude. We're going to extrude that solid. We're coming out in the right direction. We need to add a boss. The amount we're looking for is 125 thousandths. It's because that radius basically constitutes also the height. So it's 0.125. There you go. So let's see what else we got left. We have our fillets to do. We have a hole to put over here and a hole to put here. Which hole do you want to do first? Doesn't really matter. Let's do this one here. So the diameter is 0.749. So we'll draw a circle, 0.749 with it locked. We'll snap to the arc center. It put it too deep, so that's because I haven't switched to 3D. So let's switch to 3D. I undid this circle I just drew. I'm going to snap a new one in here. There we go. That's what I wanted. So let's go solid extrude. This here, it's going the wrong direction. We also want to cut body, and we want to go through the whole thing. There. Now we got a hole straight through the part. It goes all the way through the back. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to draw a circle, and I want it to be on this plane, but I also want to use the arc that we did of this boss here to use as a snap. So how do I draw on this plane again? We got to switch to two-dimensional view, set my Z height to feature on that plane, and it comes out to 1.88. So now when I do a circle with a diameter of 0.375, so let's go circle, diameter of 0.375, and I snap, looking in here, and I snap to the arc center. You see how it snaps to that face? That's what the two-dimensional drawing does for us. So I'll hit escape until I'm out of that, and now I'm going to just cut through. So solid extrude, that hole going in the right direction, cut body through all, looking at it on the other side, and that's exactly what we need. Okay, so now I'm going to hide the CAD just for the heck of it. We're going to do solid, pull up solid view, and now we're going to go through and do our fillets. The first is I'm going to come around this little pad. And I've had people ask me, what do those little two weird shaped hidden lines do? What are they for? It's actually because when this fillet runs around and terminates into this flat surface, it makes that shape. So let's go ahead and do that one. Solid fillet, constant radius. We're going to, I only want to select edges, so I'm just going to make sure that only that one's highlighted. And that's the edge I want. We want 0.125 as our radius and approve it. Let's see how it does that. This is actually not correct. Okay. Because this fillet is actually supposed to come around and then just be sheared off by that bottom. So let's get into that fillet and see if I can change some values maybe. Miter corners, no. Advanced, no. Okay, let's delete that and see if I can find a better one. So solids, fillet, face-to-face fillet. We'll do this face and this face. Oh wait, I did that out of order. Solids, fillet, face-to-face. It wants to know select the first set, enter, second set, enter, and there. See how it's cutting it off? It looks, that's the way it's supposed to look. So we just need to set our radius to 0.125, and there. That's how that's supposed to look. And as you see, that radius flows around, and this plane basically cuts it off. So that is the appropriate way of doing that fillet. And that is what's causing these two hidden lines. Okay, so the next is we just walk around this part and we put on the rest of the fillets. So we got a fillet here and these corners, and the size of all these fillets are right here. All fillets, 250 thousandths. So solids, fillets, constant radius. We're going to just go through and start selecting the edges we want. Let's see, do I need, let's see, that's square in the back, so around here, around there, around here, around there, and let's see, I think that is it. So those are all the round features we have. So approve that. 0.25 is our fillet radius. Oop, wrong button. Do that again. Here, here, and here. It's 0.25. Approve. And that, my friends, is this part. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. And we'll see you next time.